Do you want to restrict access to your site by allowing a user to log in using only a specified number of devices? Or do you want to show or hide information on your site based on the kind of device a person is using, the user IP address, the kind of browser, or even the operating system? You can now do this. And that's what this video is about. Keep watching. First things first, come to Gloo. Then toggle on Memberships Extensions. Click on Settings. Now you can toggle on User Agents Extension, which of course will make available to you two new dynamic tags, the current stored user agent dynamic tag and the current session user agent dynamic tag. We'll talk about this in a bit, but first let's focus on the user agent registration capture system, which you access by clicking on Settings. Now, you have two options on the limit login. You can notify only when there is a new login, or you can limit the amount of logins either on mobile or PC or both. Let's take a look at the first one. Disable this on WP login? No or yes. If you select no here, it means that whatever you select as the options here will apply to the WP login page, meaning your site address /WP login. If you select yes, it means it will be disabled on that page. Select which option best suits your needs. Now let's select no and then move on to entering the email subject. A new user has logged into your website. Cool. Allow devices. How many devices are allowed before this alert is sent? Let's say 2 devices or 3 devices, whichever suits your needs. 3 is fine. Login page URL, we'll put in a placeholder here, which we of course copied from here, just so it can fetch in the current login page URL. Or if you want to, you can feel good by typing in directly the login page URL right there. You can also select the name, of course the name of the sender email, and of course the sender email address. And then you have to customize the email message. In my case, I've chosen to write a new user has logged into your site and the following devices have been approved. Then I use the placeholder approved devices, which of course will print the device that the user has just used to log in. And then I said the following number of devices are allowed, and I printed the allowed devices. You can see I had that selected here. Once you're done, click on Save Changes, and that will be it. Let's take a look at the second one, the mobile and PC limit logins. Do you want to disable this on WP login? Select what best suits you. The email subject, we can say login has failed for a specific user. On failure, you send the email to, of course you put in the email address, and then the email message will be login has failed for the following user, and then you can put in the username and the email address. These are placeholders that will be replaced by the current username or the current email address that the login has failed for. How many devices are allowed before this email begins to get sent? 2 mobile devices, 2 desktop devices, that's fine. Do you want to limit admin? Yes or no. This simply means that if the user account is an admin user account, do you want that rule to apply to him? If you select yes, then it will apply to him. If you select no, then it will not apply. Next, click on Save Changes and you will be done. There are a few things you need to take note of here. If you come to Profile and scroll all the way down, you would notice that whenever you log into any device, it becomes one of these approved devices. I have logged into my mobile device and you can see the user agent printed out here. You can toggle on delete and click update profile, and this will no longer be one of the approved devices. Well, let's take a look at how we can actually use these approved devices. By taking a look at the dynamic tag itself, we need to come into the Elementor editor. And here I have laid out a page we can use to demonstrate this. The following device is your current device. So what's the device? Let's use the user agent dynamic tag to find the current session user agent. So we're going to do that by selecting dynamic tags. We'll scroll all the way down to current session user agent, and then we'll click on it and select all that apply. If we select IP address, it shows my IP address, my current IP address. Then you can toggle on browser and whatever else you need to toggle on to show up here. But what's the use case for this? you can decide to show a button to only Chrome users. Of course, you can decide to show a button to only Windows users or desktop users or maybe Apple device users or whatever you want to. But let's take a look at showing or hiding a button for only Chrome users, for example. If I select this button and then I come to advanced, of course, I am making use of dynamic visibility from Jet Engine. You can make use of any dynamic visibility plugin, but for this purpose, I'm using Jet Engine. So I toggle on enable dynamic visibility, and then I'm saying show this if this condition is met. What condition? Equal. What is equal? I would say this field. I will come down to current session user agent. I would select the browser. That's going to print out the current user browser, if it's Chrome or if it's Safari or whatever kind of browser. Then I'm going to type in the value here. So I'm saying show this if that value is equal to Chrome. And then I can hit update. Now let's come to the front end and refresh this. So as you can see, this button currently shows because this is currently a Chrome browser. But let's go over to this other browser and refresh. As you can see here, this is Microsoft Edge, and that button no longer shows because, as you can see, it was supposed to show to only Chrome users. So this is the Chrome browser, this is the Microsoft Edge, this is Chrome, this is Microsoft Edge. As you can see, it printed here. Think of how you can use this to only show or hide to a specific browser or to a specific operating system or to a specific device type, maybe a desktop or a mobile device, or even an IP address if you want to do that. Now, that is one of the dynamic tags, the user agent session dynamic tag. But how about the current user agent dynamic tag? That one will be used to print out the current user agent that the user has used already to sign in to this particular website. For this, we have this mobile device that this current user has used, and as you can see, he used Mozilla and an Android 11, which is of course a mobile device, and of course it was a Chrome browser. So we're going to show it here by using the second dynamic tag. So the following devices are your approved devices. We're just going to go to dynamic tags, scroll all the way down, click on current user agent dynamic tag, and we're going to select which of the approved devices we want to show. Do you want to show desktop or mobile or all? For this case, let's select all. And now we can select what will show up: browser, Chrome mobile, as you can see, operating system, Android, device, smartphone. Let's leave it at that. You can see you can use the delimiter or the string separator to either separate with a comma or even use a BR, which is of course a break. So that's just going to show up this way. But for now, let's just leave it as a comma. And you can see that now you can print all of the approved devices. In other words, all of the devices that this user has used to sign in, and you can also print out the current device, the device the user is currently using. Please take note that this second dynamic tag, the current user agent dynamic tag, will only be used for logged in users, but this one can be used for any kind of user. As you can see, this other user here, I could log out here just to be sure. This is of course on the Microsoft Edge browser. I'm gonna come back to the front end here and I'm gonna refresh this, and as you can see the current device but not the approved devices, because of course the approved devices cannot be seen for logged out users. We're eager to know how you can make use of this, so tell us about it. If you need to use this dynamic tag in a widget that does not support dynamic tag, remember that you can use dynamic tag everywhere, a module that will put dynamic tag functionality anywhere you need it to be. Subscribe to our channel and we'll come back with much more. Bye bye.